When I learned 4 years ago that 33,000 acres in the valley were going to be open to lease for fracking, everyone that I knew and a lot of people I didn't know were really upset about it. And we have a lot of reasons for feeling and knowing that it's not an appropriate use of the public lands or the private lands in this valley for a whole lot of reasons. For the huge organic agriculture that we have in the valley with the fruits and grains, the meats and the wines, all the foods that a lot of us value here and a lot of us value around the state and elsewhere. That's one reason. The recreation, so many of the economic drivers of the valley in this century are different than they were in the last century. And when I moved here 24 years ago, coal was still a big thing and coal was doing well. It's not doing so well now. The planet is not doing so well as a result of extractive energy and petroleum-based emissions and toxic effects and spills and explosions. And we live on a fragile, living planet. And the extractive industries are not taking that into consideration as they exploit what they call resources that are under the surface of the ocean and the earth. The prospect of fracking in this valley just gave many of us ulcers, made us sick to our stomachs, made us heartbroken. And thousands of people in this valley wrote letters. Well, I just felt really down in the dumps. What could I do? You know, what could I do personally? And then I thought, well, I'm a photographer. I have some great pictures of the valley and maybe I can put together a little bunch of pictures. And I slept on it and I thought, well, I know several other people who have good pictures. And then I realized I probably don't know hundreds of people who have great pictures. So I decided to put together an old-fashioned scrapbook, and I put the word out to the Citizens for a Healthy Community, to the Conservation Center, to everyone I knew on Facebook with emails, and I asked those two conservation groups of ours to send it out to their email list of members. And I just said, please send me pictures of these potential lease sites that are around you or where you go to play or fish or hunt, or that are next to your child's school, or that would affect your winery. So I got 55 different people, most of whom I had not known until then, that emailed me hundreds of photographs. And each photograph included the parcel number. These were actual specific photos of places that were slated to be leased for fracking. And so they included the federal parcel number, and they included the reason that these places should not be fracked and the ways that they would personally affect them. So I spent about a month going through hundreds of images and, you know, children and domestic animals and hunting and wildlife and water everywhere, and compiled them into about a 3-inch thick scrapbook that I called a visual statement. As I went through the photographs, I found that they fell into a number of pretty general categories. So I arranged the scrapbook according to certain categories. Some of the economics, the livelihoods, the lifestyles. People talked about why they lived here. People talked about why they had stayed here. If they were 3rd generation or 4th generation, people talked about why they had moved here, if they had moved here 40 years ago or 5 years ago. And it became a powerfully moving document of who we are in this valley, why we're here, and why we love this place that we call home. This scrapbook went to the BLM as part of the comments and lived on the BLM shelf for a couple of years. The scrapbook has been to Washington, D.C. and other points well beyond the valley in the effort to spread the word about who we are, why we don't want fracking in our valley and our public lands. And now the scrapbook's come home, and we are delighted to be able to offer it to anyone who wants to come and take a look at it. It'll be at the Paonia Public Library starting now, and then after a while we'll move it to the other libraries in Hotchkiss and Crawford, and hope to just keep it circulating through the valley so that everyone gets a chance to see what we put together as people who live here and love this place and want desperately to protect it. So now the scrapbook is a tangible testament to the love that we residents of the valley and that many people who visit the valley have for our living, thriving, vital, beautiful home. And there's a digital version online. The address is right here on your screen. I'd be very delighted to have you send me your photographs of places that you love in the valley and places that you don't want to see destroyed by a fracking accident or massive amounts of diesel trucks and fumes, or water that you love where you live here. Send me your photographs with the reason that you love this place and the reason that you don't want to see our valley opened up to extractive energy and fracking in particular. And I'll be happy to go through those and put some of those up on that scrapbook, and maybe all of them. It's digital, there's plenty of space.